What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Charlie Mike the podcast. I am Raul. I'm the host, and with me today, I have a guest, Crystal. She is with Wheelchairs for Warriors, which is a nonprofit that provides custom wheelchairs to injured veterans and first responders. Crystal, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I'm having a great day.
That's awesome. You mind tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am the executive director of Wheelchairs for Warriors, and I was in Baghdad for a few years. And after I came back, a couple of years, and when I came back from that service, um, you know the story. All of our veterans who've served, when you get out of a war zone, there's two sides of you. One side wants to get right back in it, and the other side doesn't want to talk to anybody.
Right.
And I had a business to run, so I was running my business and just kind of missed the camaraderie with the military and wanted to do something to give back. I saw a lot of our brothers and sisters coming back over with severe injuries. PTS was becoming, a real thing, that it was just becoming a household name. And I wanted to do something to kind of give back. And so my girlfriend and I put our heads together and we came up with Wheelchairs for Warriors because we would go to all of these events. And my partner in crime, Paul Morgan, he would see that veterans who were Medal of Honor recipients, Purple Heart recipients, had their legs blown off, had this happen to them, were rolling around in less than the proper quality wheelchairs. And he was always saying, gosh, I can't believe the crappy quality of this veteran's wheelchair. I don't understand. The support's not right, the cushions aren't right, the size doesn't even fit. This guy needs a power chair, this guy needs this. And we were just like, yeah, whatever. We can't help you there. We don't know what to do. And one day I looked at my girlfriend and I went, oh, I think Wheelchairs for Warriors, that's what we're gonna do. And she went, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. And it took like a year for him complaining about the veterans wheelchairs for me to listen correctly to God talking to me about, I know what it is I want you to do if you'll just listen. And ever since then, it's just been a roller coaster of a ride. We've helped almost 40 veterans get wheelchairs.
That's crazy. So, how long have y'all been a nonprofit?
So we started raising funds in 2017. We got our 501c3 status at the end of 2016, but all we did with that basically was get a checking account. We didn't have any
Right.
money, we didn't hadn't really raised any funds, and we started raising funds in January of 2017.
So, how is the majority of fundraising done?
I beg a lot.
That's you're serious, huh?
Serious. I just, I mean, you're not giving me the money. You're giving the money to a,
Right,
to a veteran who
right.
desperately needs a wheelchair. And I'll say this, you've been in the military, and everyone listening who's been in the military, that veterans are taught just make do, just, duct tape that piece of equipment together.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we can make it. And that's kind of what they've been doing with their wheelchairs, and it's a sad state of affairs. We wanted to say wheelchairs for warriors because we wanted to be able to serve all warriors. We didn't want to miss anyone. We didn't want to miss the guy who was with the State Department. We didn't want to miss the guy who was um, a police officer, a firefighter who needed our services. What we have found is that it truly is the veteran who gets left behind. It truly is the veteran who is not getting everything that they need. Our first responders have workman's comp insurance, and most workman's comp insurances, they give their people, their patients, whatever it is that they need. And so we haven't really been able to help. We've tried, but they have what they need. So
Right,
it really is the veteran who we're assisting and who we're serving. And I don't like to say help because we're serving them. They've
right.
served us, and we're here to serve them. And no man left behind should no longer be a mantra just for the battlefield, but also for the home field. And we want to let them know that it doesn't matter what they want. we're here to provide it for them any way we can. And we have a lot of corporate donations. The Moody Foundation supports us, Insperity supports us. Rotaries around the country support us. I go around to a lot of Rotaries and speak and tell our story. So we get funding. We do a big end of year giving campaign push, and instead of giving that money to Uncle Sam, why don't you write a check to Wheelchairs for Warriors and write that off on your taxes? We will do better with it.
Right.
We will do good things with it. We promise. Um, and so it's been a little bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's amazing. So where is like the okay? So the VA is supposed to provide these wheelchairs, correct? And is there like a lack of knowledge, or how does that? Is it just they're just like, hey, here's this, make it work, or
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So um, if you have more than one pair of shoes, raise your hand. I'm talking to you.
oh, you know what? I know I do, but I just bought a pair of shoes, another one, so I have two pairs now. I'm a simple man.
Are you serious?
I'm so serious.
You are the only person that has thought about that. That is so okay. Well, for everyone listening, raise your hand if you have more than one pair of shoes. So it hit me. I just had an epiphany one day that these veterans need more than one wheelchair. One wheelchair might get you all around your house. It might get you, around the corners in the bathroom, in the bedroom, in the shower, whatever. But what about hunting,
Right.
hiking, fishing? What about hockey? What about running? What about basketball? What about the beach? What about, right?
Right.
And so they might need more than one pair of shoes, and we're here for them. We've got your hiking wheelchair, we've got your um, fishing, we've got your hunting, we've got whatever it is that you need. We're here for you. And the VA, it's an organization ran by humans, and the veteran may have the perfect advocate, and the veteran may not have the perfect advocate. And sometimes you're just a number on a sheet of paper, and sometimes you're a human who went to battle and lost a limb for your country. And sometimes again you're just a number, and it really depends on the advocate. And a lot of our veterans are their own advocate, and some of these veterans have traumatic brain injury, so when they hang up the phone they may have forgotten everything that they were just told to do. So it gets frustrating for them. And by the time they reach us, they're at their wits' end. They're like, they're scratching, they're just like grabbing at straws, and they're just scratching into the universe, just trying to find some help. Anybody listen to me?
Yeah. You said different types of wheelchairs. I honestly didn't know that there's different ones along. For different I guess sporting events. I didn't.
Yeah, any kind. And depending on the veteran's ability and disability, a wheelchair can cost anywhere from $7,000 to $100,000.
Oh.
If all it's the if all a veteran can do is blink, if that's all they can do, we can build a wheelchair where that veteran can scoot down the road, stand up straight, look his peers in the eyes, lay completely flat for pressure relief. So these wheelchairs have a very sophisticated computer system in them, and they're very sophisticated pieces of equipment, and they're not cheap. And we don't get the discounts, that the VA gets.
Right.
We do get discounts. We are very blessed by the manufacturers of the wheelchairs. And we go to the veterans home and we measure them. We measure them from shoulder to elbow, from elbow to wrist, from wrist to fingertip, their heads. We measure everything, and we ask them, what do you want? And we go look at their home, and do you also need ramping? There's a company that we work with called Ramp It Up, and they go to the veterans home all across the nation, and they make sure that they have proper ramping. And again, should the VA be doing it? We feel like they should, but they're not. And there's always going to, I was told by someone in government that there will always be a need for veteran services organizations like ours.
I'm
It is what it
absolutely
is.
amazed by what you guys are doing. Um, yeah, I had a question.
I'm pretty amazed too. I had no idea that the middle of my life was going to be like this. it is, I'm in my sandbox. I am talking to guys like you, veterans who've gone and who've fought in combat. And it doesn't matter if they're missing limbs. I say, final question during my interview, would you do it again? And they all say yes.
Yeah, 100% without a doubt.
Isn't
That's
that crazy? And you and I missed each other by about a year. So I was there in '04 and '05, and you got there in '06, right?
oh, I think it was the end of '06. So
'07, '06,
yeah,
'07.
yeah, I get my years all mixed up. Um, I'm pretty horrible
Believe
with dates and everything else.
I'm bad with it too. I'm bad with
So
it too.
with everything that you've seen with the program from since day one to now, or what can you share any of the stories that you've had? I mean, maybe a success story. One of the soldiers maybe wrote you and said that how grateful they are. Anything along those lines.
So Joseph Lowry was our very first recipient, and Joseph was special forces guy, and he was the guy behind the. You're going to have to help me with some of my terminology. Um, Joseph was the guy behind the
50 cal.
50 cal,
Yes, ma'am.
and he would shoot the 50 cal out, but he liked to see his work. So he would pop his head from the turret, right? He would do like this. Well, he did that one day and he got dinged by a sniper. So a pecan round hit his Kevlar helmet, and it actually shattered his skull, and the bone fragments went into his brain. And so it happened on the right side. So he had hemispheric paralysis. So his left side is paralyzed. Well, he had a great chair from the VA. He got a the stand up wheelchair, the lay you flat wheelchair, and he was on an airline, and they really just damaged the wheelchair.
What?
And he couldn't get the airline to help him. He couldn't get the VA to help him to get another wheelchair. And his wife, they had 4 kids. She's dealing with 4 children, a very disabled veteran, and it was just really overwhelming for them. And so they reached out to us, and we said, "Sure, we'll come right out." So when we showed up to Joseph's house, he had one footrest missing off his wheelchair, an armrest missing off the wheelchair, and he was just scooting himself along with his good leg, and it was like in a just a roll around heavy 50 something pound wheelchair. Oh, goodness. So we built him a wheelchair, and he called us and he goes, "Hey, I did my first mission today. I went to Target." Oh, that's so funny. And he loves his chair, and that's 4 years old, I guess, and he's doing really well. And he just scoots along and can stand himself up and get the coffee out of the shelf himself. And listen, how big of a help is that for the wife?
Yeah.
She's got 4 kids, and then she also has a husband saying, "Hey, honey, I need. Hey, honey, can you get me? Hey, honey, right? Mommy, 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 honey, honey, honey." I mean, she's just about to lose her mind, right? She's got her own PTS to deal
Yeah.
with.
Definitely.
And so it's a huge help for her that now he has more mobility and independence to roll strong, which is one of our taglines. So, yeah, so that's a really good story. And then Chris Cerny is here in the Seabrook area, and we showed up to him, and he was in Desert Storm, and he's on a cane. He's got Agent Orange, all kinds of. We kind of call all the chemical exposures Agent Orange. It just kind of gets all looped into that same thing. There was something on the ship burning, and he got exposed to it, and it messes with your cartilage and your muscle tone and your bone, everything, right? And he's just barely getting along. And so we built him a wheelchair. We gave him a power wheelchair that now he really, really, really loves us. And he has, a lot more mobility than he used to have, because if you can barely walk, you're just going to sit at home. But if you can actually get in a wheelchair and go to the grocery store and scoot around and get things done, then you don't rely on other people. And it's got to be frustrating for an alpha male to be so dependent on others.
It's a mind changer. It just think about what you did for him mentally. He's able to do things for himself. That's how you said that and it gave me chills.
I know.
I I couldn't. I, for the wife with the four kids, you know, him not having to depend on her or any of the kids as much, you know, the little things that he can complete by himself, just it,
Mhm.
it means the world. I'm sure.
We showed up to Lee Talavera's house in the Austin, Texas area, and he had a spinal cord injury from an accident at work where they were dropping something that was supposed to be empty, and he and another guy were going to catch it like this, you know. So they were just like this, and they're going to catch this cylinder, empty cylinder, and it was full of liquid, and it just ripped his arms from his all of his muscles and cartilage from his spine. It just, and he could hear it just go rip, right? So the other guy was injured, but not quite as bad as Lee. When we got to Lee's house, this story is one that really angers me. When we got to Lee's house, he had a basic go to Walgreens, grab a wheelchair. The seat was this thin. It was this thin. He was basically sitting on the frame of his chair with a spinal cord injury, numb legs, tingling, you know, everything that you could think of. And they had towels stacked on the seat for him to sit on, and no back support, no you know. It's just like, I don't understand it. They wrote a blank check for us. The least we can do is write a blank check back. We know our government has money. We know there's no shortage of money because we're giving trillions to other countries.
Yeah.
We've got the money. Why are we not doing what we're supposed to be doing for who we are supposed to be doing it for? And it gets a little bit infuriating. But we got Lee all fixed up. He's all good now. He has
That's
plenty of
awesome.
cushion.
That's
And
good.
we can build cushions. They're air cushions. So they're like, they have like little rubber fingers in them, and we blow air into it, and he sits on it, and depending on how we do pressure mapping with them beforehand. So we fill it up based on their pressure mapping. So if they sit like this all the time, when we put this seat in there, he can now sit straight. You think that helps his spine?
Oh yes. Well, him sitting properly.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? The things I didn't know before I started this nonprofit and the things that I know now are, it's crazy. I've learned a whole new skill set. It's wild. And I've so much to learn. But the one thing I do know is that our veterans aren't being taken care of like they should be.
I agree. You know, in a lot of places I hear horrible stories about the VA and different things like that. You know, me personally, I've never had Houston is I to me they're good. I don't know what other
Sure. And I
people's
hear
experience.
plenty of stories like that.
Hmm. Yeah, so I've never had an issue, but I hear some pretty bad stories about different um medical facilities around the United States.
There was a guy in a wheelchair. I think he was in a wheelchair, and he just rolled up to the VA somewhere and set himself on fire. I was like, oh, I
What?
try to tell my guys, don't set yourself on fire. We're coming for you.
Yeah, golly.
Yeah,
With this whole last year and with COVID, yeah, I'm sure y'all faced a lot of challenges doing. I
we
mean,
did.
I know y'all weren't able to do as much fundraising, and were y'all able to do any out and about?
No, we didn't do. We had one big fundraiser scheduled that canceled. We had another big fundraiser, one that we were doing, we had to cancel. Then we had another one that someone was doing for us that canceled. So everything's coming back up in 2021, and we're as a matter of fact, we have just a community of warehouse warming party. We did get a new warehouse, so we're here in our new warehouse. We're at, I know you're going to put the link in your show. So we're at 2031 Anders Lane in Kema, Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
And so from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday, we're just going to have a little, you know, housewarming party. Just come by, say hello, see the wheelchairs, see why they're so expensive. The lightweight titanium wheelchairs, we may have one in that hasn't been shipped yet, but we have some of the big ones here, you know. And then Sunday, are you coming out Sunday for the
Oh,
big
I definitely
car
plan.
show?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
big Bayway Chevy, Bayway Lincoln, Bayway Dodge car all that, the Bayway Group, the Bayway Auto Group at Bayway Chevrolet in Pearland, they are hosting the first annual car show extravaganza, and we're going to do this annually. This is going to be huge, huge. Charlie Melton's coming. He trained Chris Kyle and Marcus Luttrell, and he teaches a long shot course, and he's going to be there auctioning off one of his long shot courses. There's going to be food, there's going to be a fire truck for the kids, there's going to be cars, and more cars to look at. It is going to be crazy. And some of them are traditional cars that get entered into car shows to win car shows, and some are just fun cars that are coming, just for the fun of it. But it's going to be huge. We're going to have silent auction items, live auction items, snow cones, ice cream. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff happening, and there'll be some indoor outdoor stuff so that you can, take a break.
Heat if need be.
Yeah,
I'm excited about it. Actually, I've been sharing it every time I see it on social media and things like that.
That's awesome. Huge sponsors. I mean, the community has really gotten behind this. It's going to be fun. No masks.
Yeah, one thing about Pearland, God, they support like no other, and I mean that. Like,
yeah,
I love the city.
Yeah, Pearland is amazing. Everybody's showing up. It's crazy. It's getting to be really big. And Lincoln Stahl is the general manager, and he's the one. It was his brainchild, and he's like, "It's getting big." I said, "It sure is."
He realized it.
He did. He realized it. He was like, "Uh oh."
So, what other events do y'all have coming up? Do y'all have in the books?
So if anyone is in Idaho, in Boise, Idaho, on August 27th, we're going to have a big event in Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho.
We don't have that on the books yet, like in the events, but just keep up with the events page, or the events tab on our page. And also you can go to Bayway Chevrolet and Bayway Dodge, and you can look at the event for event details there as well. That's Sunday. That's Sunday 2 to 6, and then our warehouse warming party is Saturday 3 to 9, and we're gonna have Prestige Oysters has donated some oysters, so we're gonna be cooking some oysters. My sister from another Mr. Tina is making homemade egg rolls, all kinds of good food. Carbach has donated some beer, so we're gonna have some Carbach beer. It's going to be a good, fun day.
That's awesome. So I got something to do on Saturday and Sunday now.
You do. Please come out on Saturday. You will love it.
I will. I will. I'll come out for a little bit.
I have my Iraq shelf on my bookshelf behind this computer, so you can come look at all the stuff I brought back from Baghdad.
Awesome. So if people wanted to reach you, what's the best way they could reach you?
So my cell phone number, my email, everything is listed on the website, and it's crystal@wheelchairsforwarriors.org. And we've got video on the website. We've got a YouTube channel with more video, because video slows down your website. So we have a YouTube channel. You can please follow us on YouTube. We have to have so many followers before we get a vanity URL. So go follow us on YouTube. And then we have Facebook, LinkedIn. We got it all. Instagram. We're everywhere.
That's good. Any TikToks?
No. I'm not doing TikTok yet. I'm doing so much. Should we be doing TikTok?
No, I don't know. My daughter just started mine. And
did she tell her to show me how?
I haven't put anything on it yet. I'm kind of I don't know. I got 2 right feet, so I wouldn't be able to do any moves. So
come show me how.
If somebody wanted to donate to the organization, what would be the best way for them to do that?
They can do it online. They can write a check. Our PO box is PO Box 2911, League City, Texas 77574. And you can also just go online and donate. We have a program called Touch 22 where you can donate $22 a month to help get our veterans what they need and keep them from becoming a statistic.
And it's a rough number. Also, I try to share as much as I can to get information out to anybody and everybody. I'm amazed by what you guys are doing. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person this weekend.
I'm so excited. We've been zooming. That's how
Yeah.
we met. We've been Zoom buddies for a minute.
Yes, ma'am. But I just wanted to tell you, thank you for coming on the show, and
Oh
I
gosh,
really
thank you for having
appreciate you.
me.
If,
Yeah.
if anything else you'd like to say?
No, I'm good. You covered it all. Or you allowed me to cover it all.
Yes, ma'am. That's the whole point of it. I try to do the least talking possible. Again,
And I
this is
always try to do the most. So this worked out well.
again this is Crystal with Wheelchairs for Warriors. Y'all be sure to check out the Facebook on the internet. And as always, guys, Charlie Mike.